Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been following my O6 cast, little vlogs, or more like little podcast thingies, whatever they are, well, you remember me mentioning that I'm actually going to be buying a Pebble smartwatch. Of course, that was about a month ago now, and of course, I already have it, and I've been using it for this period, so I thought maybe I'd share a little bit of my experiences with you. This is not a review of the Pebble smartwatch because many of these already exist on the internet and I'm sure you can find them, from a person more qualified than I am. So yeah, this is not a review, this is more of a vlog on smartwatches in general. You're watching another Random Wednesday episode on 0612 TV. Hello and welcome to another Random Wednesday episode. So, let's talk smartwatches. Now, the main reason why I'm making this vlog is because, and I'll be very frank, when the Pebble first arrived, I was actually quite disappointed. Of course, this doesn't say anything about the device itself, it's more of an issue of managing expectations. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to just have a quick rundown of my personal experience. And of course, the main reason why I'm doing this is because, well, just in case you're gonna get a smartwatch, and just in case you have the same, high level of expectations that I have, hopefully after I talk through, my personal experience, you have a better idea of what you're getting into. So let's begin. Now, the first thing I want to point out is, of course, I only have experience with the Pebble watch. If you are thinking of investing in a slightly different watch, well, the advice here may or may not apply to you. I believe the gist of it still will, but of course, because I don't have any personal experience with other devices, I cannot say for sure. So just bear that in mind. So let's begin with what expectations I actually had going into owning a smartwatch and how, they didn't quite match up with the reality. Now, normally when I get a new device, like a smartphone or a tablet or a camera, I spend a lot of the first few days just tinkering with it a lot. And it's sort of something to be expected. You get something new and cool, you want to play around with it, like get some kind of a toy. And that is an understandable notion. During this period, what I like to do is I like to customize everything to my heart's content. I like to explore every single menu and, just make sure I really know the device in and out. Because this is something I do for every single device I get, naturally, I'd think about doing the same for the Pebble smartwatch. But the problem is, well, the Pebble is actually a pretty simple device in terms of its UI, in terms of its settings. To explore everything and to customize everything is really something you could do in like 20 minutes. Of course, I had fun browsing through the Pebble App Store just to see what watch faces and what apps there were. And then you realize that, even with the plethora of apps available, not too many of them are really feasible for use thanks to the fact that this is a watch and not, an actual handheld device. And the very simple reason for this is just that, well, just tinkering around with a watch like this, especially when you're outside, is kinda not very natural. Also, I hope you didn't hear that because I just got a notification. So yeah, my first expectations didn't come to pass at all, and that is why I felt a little bit disappointed when I first got my Pebble. And then I start to realize that, hey, this is a smartwatch, and it's different from, any other device that I've had. But that is when I began to realize that, this is wearable technology. It's kind of very different from the rest of the devices we've had, and a little bit of a different approach needs to go into understanding this device. I guess a little shift in perspective is in order for you to better understand what this device can do for you and what it can't really do for you, and that is, the things that it's not actually designed to do. Actually, the reason why I'm doing this video is just to say one thing, and that is the one thing I've discovered after using the Pebble for a while, and that is you don't need a smartwatch. The vast majority of things that your smartwatch can do are things that your phone can do as well, and in many cases, there are things your phone can do better, and that is something that needs to be understood. I've realized after extended interaction with my smartwatch that the whole idea of a smartwatch is to just give you little micro speed ups in the things you do every day. Tasks that take 5 seconds before now take 1 second. Tasks that took 1 second might be instantaneous now. And that is the little bit of benefit you get when you invest in a smartwatch. So yeah, my biggest takeaway was, you don't expect a smartwatch to revolutionize your life, because that's not going to happen. So yeah, now that we've said all that, let's try and wrap things up by taking a look at what I actually do, because of course I've just been talking about the things that are not feasible to do. So yeah, these are the things I do on my Pebble smartwatch. The first and the biggest one of them, of course, is to view notifications on the go. If you're in a crowded train and your phone buzzes, you might not really want to start elbowing people as you pull out that phone. So of course, you have the advantage of being able to read that message on your wrist. For the smartwatch I have, replying isn't exactly an option, even though of course that's not the case for, say, the Pebble Time, where you can actually dictate a reply, even though I don't know how comfortable you'll be just being in public and going like, hey, I'm replying to a message. Alternatives like Android Wear smartwatches and the Apple Watch may of course give you different ways to reply to text messages. For me, unless the message is something very generic and I can reply with a canned response from my watch, chances are if I want to reply, out comes the phone anyway. I also use my watch to generate two-factor authentication codes. This is one of the greatest time savers because of course, for my watch I have that app set up on quick launch, and as you can see, I can launch it in basically a second. Whereas if I were to actually pull up my phone and go to Google Authenticator, that takes several seconds. Like I said, all there is to expect are little micro speedups in the little things you do. I also have a little watch app here that actually predicts bus arrival timings. Of course, my phone can do that as well. It's just a little bit more of a hassle to get there on my phone. But finally, and I would say most importantly, is the fact that it is a watch. One advantage of the Pebble, of course, is that the screen is always on, and it consumes very little power despite that fact. The variety of watch faces, of course, makes this a more interesting experience, and I also have been tinkering with the SDK for the Pebble, and basically what that means is I can actually create and in fact program my own watch faces. In fact, this watch face that I've been showing you throughout the entire episode was written by me. So yeah, this is something you won't be able to find on the store because I wrote it and I haven't published it. I don't know if I will, but that's a whole different discussion. So yeah, that's all there is for this extra rambly vlog. Of course, if you've lasted this long, I probably don't have to summarize this, but I'm gonna summarize it anyway. And the idea is this: if you intend to get a smartwatch, you might want to sort of manage your expectations before going into it, because of course, it's nothing like a smartphone. Don't expect it to change your life, expect it to make your life a little bit easier, of course, depending on how you actually set up the device. But yeah, it's not going to change things massively, it's just there to look cool, and I think we can all admit that. That's one of the big reasons why many of us want smartwatches in the first place. And beyond that, it gives you a little bit of an added convenience, and that's really all there is to it. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, this comes from my personal experience with the Pebble. Things might be different for different types of smartwatches. So yeah, take this with a grain of salt. Also read and see what functionalities and what apps are available for whatever platform you are investing in. And yeah, just, know what you're getting into. Anyway, that's all there is for this particular episode. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, you're watching 0612 TV. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked this video, consider checking out the rest of my work on my channel. Alternatively, you may be interested in my other vlogs. If you'd like to show me some monetary support, I am on Patreon. You can find a link to my campaign in the video description. Of course, you can simply like this video or leave a comment. I'll be sure to respond as soon as I can. To keep in touch with my future uploads, do subscribe to this channel. And for even more updates, check out the official Twitter account for this channel at 0612TV. Thank you for your support.